Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Unepic for the third time because I've had 2 failed takes. Yeah, I'm not very good at this, could you tell? I actually kind of like this because it's 100% independent from Spain and yet it has some of the best English I've seen. It's actually really good at its writing and it's got a bunch of cool voice actors as well. I don't recognize the top 3, but the 4th, Edwin Tiong? Oh man, that name is legendary among bad Flash games. If you're ever curious about Edwin Tiong, look up the Retzafrash, R-E-T-S-U Frash series and look for his games because they're amazing. But anyway, so yeah, it says 2 hours, 35 minutes. 20 minutes of that's just been fucking around because I couldn't figure out how to get forward in the game. But anyway, the game's got multiple difficulties, which I actually really like. So the idea is that the game's a puzzle platformer, and this just tends to make it easier or harder. So you've got easy, which regenerates your health, saves your game automatically, and makes the monsters easier. Medium, which just saves your game automatically, which is what I've been playing. Hard, which makes you save your game manually, which is interesting. And monsters can see you from further, and you get more skill points. And then you've got not invulnerable when being hit, so you'll probably get wombo comboed by something. That's kind of annoying, but yeah, I've been playing on medium mode, so here we are in Unepic. It's meant to be, as it says, unepic, but it's actually quite epic. The idea is, it's an exploratory puzzle platformer. Boy, you've heard that before, with some light combat to boot. But, thankfully, the combat is actually a lot more than just, well, it is actually fairly simple, but at the same time, it's got more to it than just standing around and hitting one button, which is somewhat what the combat is, but at the same time it's not. I'll get onto that, but yeah, the idea is it's a puzzle platformer by the way of La Milana, except it's not masochistic. So the idea is you wander around these areas. I'm not going to go to the boss fight right now. I'm just going to take the opportunity to show off a little bit of the combat. But here's the idea. So the idea is you have to navigate these big areas. Like for example, here's the map currently. It's got a big area over on the right there, which is the first area which I've cleared, including the boss fight. I'm not going to get hit by you. You die now. Thank you. So, you've got a lot of stuff to explore, and the levels are basically dungeons in their own right. You have to wander around them and try and find the way forward. And you also have the ability to defeat monsters and collect loot. There's plenty of loot to be had. There's lots of different weapons. There's lots of treasures to be found and crafting ingredients and all sorts of stuff. Like, so for example, allow me to show you the way the equipment system in this game works after I kill this bat to make sure it doesn't hurt me. To make sure it doesn't hurt, yeah. So, the idea is you've got a lot of equipment. So what it said shortcuts. Now these shortcuts are very numerous. You've got 15 custom ones down the bottom and you can have 12 mapped to different combinations of the shoulder buttons and the face buttons up there. And I've got 4 different weapons up there. Healing potions, a halo which will get me back, a short bow. And you can have all sorts of other stuff up there. So for example, you can make different equipment, different scrolls, so they do different things, different potions, and all sorts of stuff. We can also sort them automatically, which is actually really nice. But anyway, the idea is that, considering the fact that the combat is actually very simple, you have a lot of different weapons that you, whoops. You have a lot of different weapons that you want to be using. So, for example, the sword is a lot better against living targets. The mace is a lot better against environmental stuff, like these barrels here. These torches also don't start out lit. So, the idea is you need to come down to these areas and you need to light up the torches successfully, but there are a lot of times where you probably won't be able to see what the hell you're doing. And hopefully once I show off this boss and beat him, I'll be able to show you more of what that means. But if you crouch next to a ledge, you'll be able to light it up and you have to go in very slowly. You have to be very cautious in this game. It's a lot like Dark Souls or La Milana where you have to move in slowly and plan your movements. But anyway, let's fight a boss because I'm not enough of a masochist as it is. But anyway, we can actually zoom the view of the game in and out, which is interesting. I need to try and avoid these, but it's not going to be easy. Never said it would be easy, I just said it would be... Alright, I gotta do it while his mouth's open. I better climb the ladder. But yeah, the game's also got a fair few bosses, so... This is Momoko right here. He's a bit of a weird boss, this one, but... Yeah, most of the bosses have repeating patterns that you have to get used to. But at the same time, it's actually pretty fun fighting these because they're not actually very easy. So you need to, like, actually follow the patterns and make sure you don't do anything stupid. This is me we're talking about, right? No, don't fire again. God damn it. I'm gonna have to take my healing potion, but something I've come to expect, really. So the game is a bit of a dungeon crawler in that sense. You have a lot of loot to go find, and you have a lot of bosses to defeat, but there are also puzzles to solve and quests to have. So, if you're paying attention... did I even go into the menu in this video? I probably didn't, but there is a lot of stuff to do in this game. Like, all the weapons have different statistics and all that, so you have to be constantly upgrading your weapons and stuff. And there is a stat system in this game, which I'll be more than happy to show you once we're in a new dungeon and just having a bit of a look around. But right now I just want to focus on beating this boss, because if I pause the game, the menus won't actually pause the game, which is kind of infuriating. But there is a dedicated pause button right here, which is quite nice. But yay, I get to go down into a new area, and as you can see, it's dark, so I have to find the torch and light it. Also, I have to pull this. And the fucking thief stole my coins. Yeah, that tends to happen. So the thieves actually steal your shit if you leave it around for too long and you go out of sight. Ooh, a quest. Show me a quest, please.
I salute you again, young adventurer. I hope you find the answers you seek.
Hey, still here? I thought you had passed on to the next world.
Before leaving, I wanted to thank you for what you did for me. However, I lack one thing. Although this room is empty, I feel the presence of this ring.
Well, I'll see what I can do, but I can't promise anything.
So yeah, there are quests as well, and I might as well show off everything else while I'm here. So you've got your inventory, obviously, which can be sorted, and there's plenty of different equipment. You've got rings and armor, and these all have durability as well, and the weaker they get, the less effective they are, which is an interesting little concept. And you've got all sorts of crafting ingredients and all that. You've got spells, which require essence dropped from enemies, so you need to actually keep a decent supply of them around. You've got recipes, which you can use to brew potions, but you need to be at a cauldron. You can see one right there, in order to brew those. And you've got your character. So you need points in all these particular areas in order to do things. Like, for example, if I want to wear level 5 armor, I have to be level 5. And the maximum for each of these stats is your current maximum level. So you can get different damage and critical bonuses for all these different weapons. And you also, you know, can brew potions and do magic spells and all that. You can also come here to check your quests. You got your options, which is pretty interesting. Now, you've got the ability to adjust your zoom, which is really nice. You can also turn up and down the screen brightness, because this game is very dark. I've been leaving it at 75, because that's my personal preference. Good volume sliders. You can turn off auto-saving and tips, which is quite nice. There's different languages, and you can redefine a lot of the controls, which is pretty nice. So, at least on the face buttons, at least. You can't do it on the shoulder buttons or anything. You got your trophies, and you've also got different challenges. So, you can get Unepic points, and I imagine these do something, but the only challenge I've found is one that's stupidly hard, so I'm not even going to attempt to get to it at this point. So the game's got a lot of variety going for it, despite the fact that it's a very simple game. There's a lot of exploring to do, a lot of weird challenges, and we're going to have to try and find this guy's ring, aren't we? Got to be around here somewhere. There's got to be some secret. In fact, it's probably a hidden wall. Like, this game's got a fair amount of hidden stuff too. Like, there are walls which just disappear and reveal treasure chests, which is actually kind of cool. Like that, but they usually reveal actual... There we go. There's his ring. Knew it was there. So, yeah. There's a lot of variety and a lot of stuff to do, despite the fact that it's a very simple game. And the parody... It's meant to be a parody of things like RPGs and video games. And while there are a lot of references to things...
My ring. It's been...
Well, how do I give it back to you? You're like some sort of hologram. Can you hold it?
It is not necessary to give it back. The ring itself is the aid I wanted to give you.
Wow, thanks. I'll gladly wear it. By the way, have you remembered your name yet?
I still do not remember my name, but I will seek it, as I need a name in the next world.
Well, good luck. See you later. I'm starting to like this spirit.
Ah, he is just the remnants of a weak pilferer that dared to enter this fortress.
The voice acting's great. It's actually really good. Like, it's great, and the writing itself is actually great. Like, for a game that was made entirely in Spain, they've done an absolutely fantastic job in translating and acting it out properly. It is a really good... What's the word I'm looking for? I want to say localization, but that word's a dirty word, so yeah. I like it a lot. They've done a really good job, and some of the dialogue is actually really funny.
Zira, may I ask you a question?
I'm just gonna...
You can.
Oh, I'll just let it go. Why not?
Expect an answer from
Actually, no, I will skip it, but...
You told me that the
Yeah, I'll skip it just so there's no story spoilers, but yeah.
they're like...
Yeah.
I'll just look it up later on YouTube, because I actually do plan on finishing this. Skip the dialogue. Anyway, the dialogue itself is actually hilarious at times. Like, there are some references which are a bit cringeworthy, but there's some really funny jokes in there, which I won't spoil, but they are actually capable of writing some pretty funny stuff. So, I'm not gonna say anything about that though. So you've got an honestly funny writing of the game. You've got lots of areas to explore, loot to get, and combat that is kept interesting mainly via the variations of what they, well, that's a heart behind there. That's very good. All right. And the many variations in which you're put with your many different weapons really takes away from the sort of single button combat. And there are a lot of different, and there are a lot of different ways they exploit this combat, especially with the bosses and just the general level layouts and stuff. It's a very interesting way of doing things, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. Can I open this gate? No, that's the key to the catacombs, which I can't go to yet. See, if I hold down here, I can check the floor below me before I drop down, which is a very smart idea. I say as I get hit. But yeah, I am enjoying this game a hell of a lot, despite the fact that it's relatively quite simple. Nope. I'm gonna let him go by me because I've got a dagger. The different weapons in this game do different things, as I said, so... Fucking teleported! Alright, never mind. Come here. I'm just gonna stab you to death. There we go. I even got his intestines as a loot drop, which is the most satisfying thing ever, but yeah. I'm enjoying this game a hell of a lot. Oh god. It feels like Unepic is trying to do what La Milana did and not be a complete asshole about it at the same time. I mean, La Milana's extreme difficulty has its charm, but at the same time, I can definitely understand why someone would actually want to play a game like La Milana without... Oh god. Yeah, that happens from time to time. It feels like the guy was trying to make a clone of La Milana, while at the same time trying to do it in a way that's not being an asshole. And I like to think he actually pretty damn well succeeded, if you ask me. The humor's funny, the platforming remains interesting, my dogs are going off, and all the situations and the variety that you can get yourself into is actually really interesting. Not to mention, trying to defeat some of these enemies is really actually quite hard, so... Ow!
What's this bunch of rocks?
Also, yeah, no damage. Go me. But yeah, this is a very interesting game, indeed, and I actually quite like it, and I do plan on finishing it. Thankfully, the game's actually quite small, so I do plan on keeping it around for the time being. Very interesting game indeed. I believe it's going to cost about $10, and it's probably well worth that price. Obviously, if you're looking for something deep in the combat department, you're not going to get it here. So, if you're looking for something like that, go play something like Muramasa Rebirth. That game's fantastic. Or wait for Odin Sphere. That's coming in a couple of months. But if you want something that has more focus on exploration and light puzzle solving, while still remaining somewhat interesting with its combat, you do have to do some combat in this game, but If you want something that's not as horrendously difficult like Llama Lana or something like Muramasa Rebirth where it's so detailed that you forget half the moves, well, this game is certainly a good choice, I have to say. Like, I heard of this game years ago, actually, and I thought about picking it up, and I'm like, nah, that probably wouldn't interest me. That was a mistake, because I didn't think this game would interest me that much, but I'm actually really enjoying it. So, there you go. Very simple, but what it does very well, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And very easy to recommend, despite the fact that it's quite simple. Let's just fireball some bitches, why not? No damage whatsoever, because of course these are red slimes, so they actually are fireproof. Because of course they are, right? I imagine they're going to bring up something like that. Like, I shot a ball of flame in this thing's face, and it's still not dead somehow. So, you know, hopefully that's something they bring up. But, yeah. Really well done. The port's great. Like, the port wasn't done by any of the usual porting companies, but it's still pretty damn good. The writing is good. The humor is good. The variety that comes from all the different weapons is good. And all the different layouts is even better. And all the systems that they include, including like brewing potions and doing magic spells and having all the different areas to explore and all the bosses to beat, is definitely interesting. Even if you spend like 5 minutes just beating the shit out of some poor red slimes just because you want a treasure chest which probably has nothing in the end of it. Bunch of slow potions. Yep. Fantastic. Not like I needed those at all. Where am I going next? I guess I'll go to the left. There's a bunch of quests to do, there's a bunch of loot to find, and the story itself is actually quite interesting just thanks to the fact that you're possessed by this spirit who's an evil bastard, and he's absolutely amazing to listen to. And we've got another cube here.
I caught this human in the entrance of the castle. It was easy to possess his body. He barely resisted. You already know of such a weak and pitiful race?
I visited their world a long time ago. I posed as one of their gods, and they gave me names like Poseidon and Neptune.
Foolish humans.
I won't do any more, but the idea is you're being possessed by this evil spirit, and now that we've got another quest, we can make it the Statue of Poseidon, which requires a lot of blue essence and lots of statues, and yeah, that's just a lot of stuff to go do. But yeah, once we've done that, he'll give us access to, I think, water magic? So, yeah, unfortunately you can't play a full-on mage until, like, late in the game, but at the same time, it's still very, very interesting. And let's go back this way and unlock the door so that I can unlock the, cage door, I should say, shit, so I can fast travel back to the main area. Just right here. So if I open the door and I go through it, I'm in the fast travel area, so I can come back to the main cube, or I can go to any other place that I've unlocked so far. And I can come and save. Although I don't really need to. This video's been going on for about 18 minutes at the moment. Yeah. So, it's legitimately funny. The exploration is cool. It's got a lot of loot to find. And it's got a lot of variety in its combat encounters. With all your different weapons that you can hold that have specific benefits. So, yeah, I fully recommend Unepic when it comes out. If it's not out already. Yeah, I really should check that before I started recording this video. But yeah, Unepic, highly recommended. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.